All right, tennis people, welcome back to the Slice. And we are in the quarterfinals now of the Indian Wells 2022, the Indian Wells, the BNP Paribas Open. And we've got a pretty interesting quarterfinal setup here. We're going to go through the 4 matchups on the men's side, and it just does not look like other years. I thought that this would be kind of a more normal or typical Indian Wells, kind of pre-pandemic, lots of crowd there. We'll see, unfortunately no Djokovic, but we got Nadal playing good. And we got Zverev, Medvedev, Tsitsipas doing their thing. They're all out. So it's just Nadal versus a lot of guys who we don't normally see at this stage. And we got the big matchup, Nadal versus Kyrgios. So much drama, so much energy into that matchup, and one that every single tennis fan should be looking forward to. So we're going to break down that matchup and the other ones and get into it all here on The Slice. Thanks for being here.
I go Federer. You're coming at you from the Del Rey Beach Open, Miami Open, and the grounds of Indian Wells.
Novak Djokovic. We are here with the man, Milos Raonic.
Welcome to the Slice.
So there you have it, folks. We are into the quarterfinals. I'm still on the road preparing for my journey, my voyage to Europe. So thank you guys for the people who have jumped on the memberships in YouTube and on Patreon to support our journey. We really need your help. So do that if you can. And if you're interested, also just giving a huge shout out to the official bag of the Slice, Go Sport. Again, premium tennis bags. If you want to have more fun, have more comfort going to the court, grab yourself a Go Sport bag because they're just the best in the business. Great American company, and they do just an amazing job at designing bags. So shout out to them for supporting The Slice. Subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video. You guys know the drill. But what are we talking about today? Today we're talking about Nadal Kyrgios, that matchup in the quarterfinal. One, I don't know, probably a lot of people didn't see. I'm going to talk about why I think Kyrgios has had this rejuvenation in his career, or at least in 2022 here, after looking like he was almost going to retire at the end of last year. We're going to talk about Nadal's potential injury after the Opelka epic, very tight match that he had there. And then we're just going to look at the rest of the matchup. So let's get into it. We have got on the top Nadal Kyrgios. So Nadal Kyrgios, the head-to-head is 5-3 for Nadal. And that makes sense, obviously, because he's won 21 Grand Slams now. It's crazy to even say. But at one point, it's 3-3. And if you do remember, there's been a few times where Kyrgios has beaten Nadal. I was actually physically at one of them. I was at the 2017 Cincinnati Masters where Kyrgios beat Nadal, and Kyrgios was in good form. He was playing well that year. Nadal won the French Open in 2017, and he won the U.S. Open the next week after this. So you can't say that Nadal wasn't playing good. Those are pretty fast, hard courts in Cincinnati, so that's a difference. But the main thing with this matchup is Nadal's always been like the hard worker, the stone cold, the GOAT, the great man. And then Kyrgios has found a way to get in his head in certain ways, like we saw in the Acapulco matchup, when there was just some crazy atmosphere there and the antics were going down. And Kyrgios seemed to get in Nadal's head, and he was able to come back and win it in the third set tiebreaker. And then the other matches where it's gone Nadal's way, Nadal's been able to be more comfortable, and he's just a better tennis player. We know that. So he should be winning these matches, but it's not obviously like Kyrgios doesn't have unbelievable weapons and abilities to hurt Nadal. But the times that Nadal has won, it's when he's been more comfortable, he's been able to play, and he's just come up with the goods in the tiebreaks. Even the last couple matches they've played, if you look at it, in the 2020 Australian Open, 2 tiebreakers to end it. Could have gone either way there, technically. 7-6, 7-6 for Nadal in the last 2 sets. And same within their 2019 Wimbledon matchup. The last 2 sets were tiebreakers. So they've actually played 6 tiebreak sets in their last 3 matches, which is a lot, obviously. So I hope this is just an absolute popcorn match. I cannot wait for it. Tennis fans around the world cannot wait for it. My theory as to why Nick Kyrgios has all of a sudden, in 2022, been training hard, new girlfriend. We've seen this before. He comes onto the tour with a new girlfriend, loves the support. But also, I just realized this yesterday. Yeah, Netflix has obviously been doing their show following the ATP around, and they're following certain players, and obviously they're going to follow Nick Kyrgios. And I'm assuming he's getting a nice lump sum of money to be an engaged character in their TV show. So he's been training tons. He played great at the Australian Open. Won the doubles, obviously, with Thanasi Kokkinakis. You know what it is. Grand Slam champions, Nick Kyrgios. And he has all this motivation monetarily. And he also, I think truly does love tennis and like wants to play. But, you can go through some dark times like he's talked about. But he's just got this new motivation to win. And if you don't think Nick Kyrgios is motivated to come out tomorrow and today, and beat Rafa, you got another thing coming. So that matchup, I just can't imagine it being a one-sided affair because Rafa looked like his foot was bothering him in the win over Opelka, which was very close, 2 tiebreakers as well. He didn't seem to have, he had some signs of not getting up through balls. He had some signs of being a little bit hesitant at some points, and he just looked like he was hitting his foot a little bit. And he talked about it did bother him, but so he could technically pull out of this match, but it's just hard to know with his ongoing injury in his foot there. Prediction: Rafa in 2, but it could go anyway. It could be Nick in 3, Nick in 2. You never know with Nick's serve and his game. You never know, and he knows how to. Sorry, one more thing. He knows how to play Rafa out of his comfort zones. Like Nick knows how to slow ball his backhand to different courts to move Nadal instead of just having Nadal sit there and rip shots. Kyrgios understands the game very well, and that's what I saw when he beat him in Cincinnati, which was 5 years ago almost now, which is crazy. So there's my prediction: Nadal versus Kyrgios. Let me know yours in the comment section below. Fritz versus Kecmanovic. Both guys have had a great tournament. Kecmanovic, awesome, playing great, obviously, to be in the quarterfinals. And Fritz, a lot of people are saying he's, just the way that he's been playing there, he's one of the favorite Americans to go even deeper in this tournament and just have a really, really good 2022 after some injuries in 2021. I see that. I see Fritz as the favorite in this matchup. Just a little bit more weapons on every side. But Kecmanovic is a baller. He's got tons of areas that he can go to play and to get an advantage. So I'm leaning Fritz here, but Fritz, it would be by small margins because it's just hard to know. Like often, honestly, a Fritz Kecmanovic match, like you would often see in round 1 or 2 at a tournament like Indian Wells, they're in the quarterfinals. So mazel tov to both those guys, playing great. Clearly, Cam Norrie, defending champion, putting some respect on his name. He said, "Put some respect on my name." They're like putting him on like court 5 when he was starting the tournament. Just ridiculous. Like they're doing it based on like fan desire to watch people. I get that, but he just won your tournament last year. Like put him on center court at least for the first day. I'm assuming he'll get center court now versus Alcaraz because Alcaraz is like the second coming of Jesus, basically. Like he is the prodigy. Everyone loves him, and how can you not? He is electric. His game is massive. We all know it now, and he likes hard courts. These are slower hard courts. And Cam Norrie just took out Brooksby, who's another amazing young player who's really crafty. So Cam Norrie just impresses me so much because the way he's able to get the most out of his game and just play the opponent, play with his game. He knows his forehand is unleashed. Like he knows how to rip it up the line, bring it out cross court. So he's going to find ways to try and put Alcaraz in uncomfortable positions. And I'm interested to see what those things are that he does. Because honestly, I don't have that many clues right now. I just know that he has got a great whippy lefty forehand. He's got a flat backhand. I don't know how the flat backhand, he's obviously made it to the quarterfinals, which is great for him. It could be not great on the slow hard court, but you never know. And then we have Dimitrov versus Rublev on the bottom there. Dimitrov, great run for him here. That's awesome to see him get back some momentum. And Rublev's been playing great. So I think Rublev's the favorite in this one, but you can never really count Dimitrov out because based on what he's done in his career, based on how good he's been, when he's playing good, he can play with the best of them. We all know that. Don't make any mistake about it. So if I had to take my 4 semifinalists, guessing Nadal, Fritz, I'm actually going to go with Norrie, and then I'm going to go with Rublev. So those are my 4 picks. Let me know yours. What do you think? Is that ridiculous? I don't know. What I know is that I thought this would be a much more normal Indian Wells 2022. Like I said in the intro, full crowds back. It's in March again. It feels like the real sunshine double since the last time we had it was literally 2019, a proper sunshine double. but it hasn't turned out that way. We had big losses from Medvedev, big loss from Zverev, big loss from Tsitsipas, all going down. Tsitsipas losing to Brooksby actually, makes sense. That was a close match. But, Zverev losing, Medvedev losing to Monfils, that's hard to wrap your head around when he's going for number one. But I've seen lots of other people make good points. Russia-Ukraine conflict, craziness there. He's number one now. There's the pressure of that. It's a slow, hard court. That doesn't help Medvedev. Some people said it makes sense that he lost. He can still win on a slow, hard court. It's just not as good for guys who hit flat like that, obviously. So there's multiple factors in that. But then Zverev crashing out. It's just a continued run of bad form. Like obviously the debacle in Acapulco where he got kicked out, probably should have got suspended. But then just not being able to make a run here. I'd figure that he actually would like a hard court or a slower hard court in Indian Wells. I feel like he's been here, done well here before. But Tommy Paul played out of his mind. So there's just lots of guys who can beat lots of guys now on the ATP, and there's no seemingly dominance at the top. The asterisks behind all of this is that Novak Djokovic has not been playing in 2022 so far. He played one tournament so far, and that's a huge shame. And for anyone that says that doesn't influence the vibe at all, it totally does. We all know that Nadal sent an amazing 18-0 start to 2022. But if you were being realistic as a Nadal fan, he hasn't played Novak Djokovic in any of the 3 tournaments that he's won. Does that take away from his win? No, it doesn't take away from the fact that he lost or he won. But does it take away from the greatness of those wins? In my opinion, yes, it does. Because clearly Novak Djokovic is his biggest challenge on hard court. He hasn't beaten him since 2013 or something like that. So yeah, that's the other thing that makes this Indian Wells not a normal Indian Wells, as well as these big upsets. But this quarterfinal, Kyrgios Nadal, I'm looking forward to it. I cannot wait. I hope Nadal's healthy. I hope Kyrgios is ready, and let the games begin. So appreciate you guys. Thanks for being here. Subscribe to The Slice if you haven't already. Like the video. And consider joining our channel. Support me as I go to Europe to produce content from there, bringing on new people to make new shows. Support our guy, Julian, who is on the ground in Indian Wells making content for the Instagram, which you got to follow if you haven't already. So follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Appreciate you all, and let me know what your thoughts and reactions are to the matches upcoming in the section below. And soon enough, we'll be in Europe with a more permanent studio. So stay tuned for that. We'll see you.